So in previous video, we showed you how to change the cartridge filter. As you can see, we have the big blue cartridge housing here, and there are actually smaller cartridge housings as well that take smaller diameter cartridges. So there are a variety of cartridges we can actually put inside these housings, and the cartridges are rated typically in what are called microns, which refer to the actual size of the particle we're trying to move. And there are also carbon-based cartridges that have different purposes, and I'll show you that one last. So, as you saw before, we have a dirty filter that we've just changed, so it's not uncommon for them to look pretty discolored. And sometimes you can, if you have a lot of iron, you can actually even have a slimy film on them. So, most of these cartridges are for sediment primarily, and you have your lower flow, narrow diameter cartridges. This is a P5, and there are many brands of cartridges. Pentair or Pentec is a large manufacturer. You'll also see like Water Group, Keystone. There are a lot of cartridge manufacturers. So when we talk about micron ratings, the lower the micron rating, the more finite particle we're trying to remove. So we have as low as 1 micron rating cartridges, and 1 micron rating cartridges, because they're picking up a lot of particulate, they may get clogged quicker. So keep in mind that if you use a more finite cartridge, the more frequently you're going to most likely have to change it. The other thing to pay attention to when you look at these cartridges is actually the composite of the cartridges. You have sometimes what are called polyester cartridges, you have cellulose blend polyester cartridges, and you have polypropylene cartridges. Polypropylene and polyester cartridges are typically used on well water supplies. Cellulose fiber based cartridges have to be used on municipal water supplies because cellulose fiber can breed bacteria. City waters or municipal water supplies have a chlorine base to them, so you don't have to worry about that. If you were to use that in a well water, you could potentially create bacteria and odor issues. So you have cartridges, like I mentioned before, that are straight 1 micron cartridges, and then we also have what are called graded density cartridges. So they actually have different size micron ratings on the outside and a more finer micron rating as you go towards the center core. So we get a variable size particle reduction towards the center. So here we see a 75-25, which would mean that you have a 75 micron outer core, a 25 micron inner core. As you saw my partner Paul in a previous video, he uses a 2501, which means 25 micron outer core, 1 micron inner core. And so when you have a variable size particle, you can get more longevity out of the cartridges between changes. Lastly, we have what are called carbon cartridges. Carbon-based cartridges are typically designed for chlorine removal, improving the taste of the water. You'll get a little bit of odor removal, but because in the cartridge form, there's not a lot of carbon in the cartridge, their longevity is pretty short if you're using them to filter all the water in the home. So typically we would use these on a specific faucet, like the kitchen cold side, or just feeding the kitchen area for drinking water to improve your taste of your drinking water.